Are you a leader that has a lot on your plate that you want to get off and you want to grow? How do you decide what to take off your plate? Consider these three areas. Number one, ask. Number two, what triggers you? And number three, look at your last position. Welcome to Great Transition Strategies Monday Morning Stand-Up. 5 minutes to get your week off to a great start and potentially give you something to make you a more effective leader. All right, you're a leader who wants to grow, but you have so much on your plate and you want to get some of that stuff off. How do you decide? Okay, let's look at these three areas to consider. Number one, ask. Who do you ask? I work with individuals, and when I work with them, we'll create a 360 that they create themselves. And the first question that we usually come up with, I'll certainly recommend, is ask those that you work for, those that you work with, and those that work for you, what do I need to stop doing? And you will get that feedback. What do I need to stop doing? And get the feedback from them. They're going to give you that feedback. You need to stop doing, and hopefully they'll give you a reason why. And that way you have now something to consider. Okay, I'm going to stop doing that. Take that off my plate. Area number two, triggers. What triggers you? Is there something you do in your daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly routines that trigger you? Maybe it's a report. Maybe it's a meeting. Maybe it's some kind of event that you have to go to that triggers you negatively. Like, oh, I really dislike going to that event. Well, do you have to do it? Do you really have to do it? Is that something that you can delegate and give to a direct report as a growth opportunity? So do you need to do those? When you're triggered, that trigger is telling you something. It's trying to tell you, I am not in alignment with what I'm doing here. Well, what needs to change? Can you take it off your plate? Can you use it to grow others? What can you do? What can you stop doing there to make some time for yourself so you can grow? So triggers. There might be some positive triggers too, which leads me to this one. So we'll talk about the positive triggers here. Look back at your last position. You got promoted to where you are today because you are really good at some things, right? You performed well, you got promoted. So here you are now. What are you doing from your last position that is carried over that maybe you should not be doing, that someone else should be doing? And it might be one of those positive triggers. You might be really good at this particular meeting, at this particular event, and you've kept it on your plate. But maybe someone else should have that. You've now moved. What do you need to get off your plate? So a positive trigger could be telling you, well, that's something I really like doing that's really not appropriate for this particular position. I can move that off my plate to make space for my growth. Think about when you move. When you move, you clean out a whole bunch of stuff for reasons. I don't need this anymore. Oh, this is not for me now. Or, hey, I need something else to fit into that new position. Same thing in a leadership position. What do you need to get rid of, to leave behind? What do you need to make space for so you can continue to grow? There you go. What do you need to get off your plate? Look at those three areas. Ask others, evaluate your triggers, and evaluate what you've carried over from your last position. Hope you found that helpful. See you next Monday morning, 8:30. Have a great week.